wanted to give you some of the pros and the cons. So on the pro side, the community has $103 million. You get to use that land anyways. The green area, you retain your treaty rights in that area no matter what. So even after it's settled, you can still hunt, trap, and fish and gather in that land area. The next one is we reserve the right to go after Ontario. It was really interesting talking to Canada. They said, like, if Ontario is at the table, then they partition the amounts. So we wouldn't got the 103 million. They would have said, it's 103 million, but Ontario's giving you X. So it's 103 million less the X, whatever that happened to be. The fact that Ontario is not here is a very clean slate. So that means, and Canada said this, we're not going to come back to you about the 103 million. If you vote in favor of this, it's yours. What you do with Ontario is your problem. It's your issue. Now, Canada's on our side in this case, right? When we go forward with Ontario, Canada's there with us because Canada tried to had to try to bring Ontario to the table because it lowered their amount that they put in. So we got a clean shot at Ontario, and we have a very good shot. Okay, it's going to take time, just like this. But folks, we've been here since time immemorial. If you believe that, well, then let's take the next step. So time's on our side too, so that's a pro. Our community members, we're going to put this in our people. Our young people are going to continue this fight. It has to be done, right? So we have to go after Ontario. The next part is there's other claims. So let me give you one. You heard about the annuities case, right? That's also under the Robinson Huron, and that's one item. It was the $4. So is there more in that basket? Yes. So look at in this era that we're in, I look at these issues as being half full. Our ancestors didn't get a chance. Like Chief Wabakekek, when he saw that, when they came out, he actually writes it in his diary. Like he writes to the surveyor comes out and he says, there's something wrong here. And the surveyor says, well, that's not my problem. Fast forward to where we are now. We're trying to get this thing righted. So what's on our next horizon? We have such intelligent people in this room to take on the next challenge. That's in our corner as well. So there's another piece. The next one, there are other claims. For instance, this one here is under 1836. That's an unfinished business. We haven't discussed that. So people are asking me, well, is this all of it? No. We're also signatory to 1836, so we have to go back and do our history. 1862, we're also signatory to 1862. So we have a lot of work to do. In my lifetime, I won't see that. But we're going to give that to our young folks who are going to continue this discussion. So those are in our corner. Those are positive things as well. Okay, what are the cons? There are some real ones. This release and indemnity, you heard that tonight. We have to release for any issue around that 135 square miles, but the math is right? It was 3 by 5, that was 15 square miles. We were supposed to get 9 by 15. Somebody got a calculator? Somebody multiply 9 by 15. Because if I tell you what it is, you're not going to believe me. So 135, so that's what we're settling on. The quantum is 135, so there it is. That's why I asked for this thing to be opened again. We didn't get the 135 square miles. Now it's in front of you. But we have to release that. We won't come back. Any of our future folks won't come forward and go after that again. And there's some trepidation there, I understand it. It's a con. The indemnities, that's just how Canada operates. Like, there's a lot more to this in the negotiation that were a lot tougher on me personally, dealing with this government and council. And this was a lot tougher. But we got there. So the indemnity piece, yeah, that some of that language that's in there, that's their standard language, and I'm telling you, we could not move them. And right at the end, we were ready in June. That administration just shut us right down. No, you're going to go at our heartbeat now. And it was frustrating for us. I'm going to tell you personally, it really hurt. It really hurt because we were ready. You were ready. You were ready in June. And you now found out that we knew in June. But we had a government, and it wasn't the minister, because they don't do it, but their bureaucracy kicked in, and there's a lot to that bureaucracy. It tied me right up, and I can cut through a lot of bureaucracy. But our council, we just couldn't go through this. They just called the shots. That's a real difficulty. And I don't know how long that's going to be in place. I don't know what next government's coming, whether they tighten those restrictions or loosen them, I don't know. A big one. There's less and less land available in this province. And you need to think about that. When you look at the Sudbury Basin, all of that stuff has been, what's the language, patented land. And when we put the real maps up here, this is a theoretical map, what it would have looked like in 1849, 1850. When we put the real map on there, a lot of that land's been sold off already, it's been patented off. So if we continue to wait, one of the issues that we're going to face is that when we go forward, say we wait 25 or 50 years, how much of that's going to continue to be sold? A lot of it. A lot of this is going to continue to be sold. And we're going to show you, when we get through this, and we're going to be successful, when we get through this and we lay out the patented lands, you're going to be as shocked as we are. There's no land left in Sudbury. There's none left in North Bay. And if you follow the Highway 69 corridor going across, right to Sault Ste. Marie, that's all in red. You'll see it all in red. That means it's all patented. You can't get it back. Then you have to buy it. We're trying to get Crown land back. In the areas that we're describing here under the claim lands, that looks nice on paper. The reality is there's a whole bunch of that land that's already patented off, and you know that. The longer we wait, that becomes more difficult. There's just more and more people coming. So that's something that's an inevitable. We have to deal with. We have to deal with that. We just can't add that geometry to the band. It's not going to be that easy, and you'll see that. Well, what happened over here? Well, that's patented. What happened over here? That's gone. What's happened over here? Like in 1899, let me tell you a little story. The town of Espanola got a lot of land to set up a mill. 1899. We couldn't get that back if we tried. So those are some of the issues that we have to wrestle with, and they're real. And we have to join forces. It's us. We have to come together, folks. And then we take these on. We take on these other claims. But now we have a war chest to do it. And then you have the pride. I put that in my camp. I'm proud of who we are. And our ancestors have faced a lot of adversity. A lot of it. It has not been easy. Now we have the opportunity in front of us. But it's one. It's in a sequence. There's a whole bunch of other ones that we need to do. Think about the lake beds. Those are not talked about in the treaties. But we started that process with the chiefs on Manitoulin to talk about the lake bed issues, and Nancy's been part of that work. OKT's been a part of that stuff. That might take 20 or 30 years, but we got the ball rolling. We got the ball rolling. We have to talk about islands yet. There's so much more. How about the railway line? And you know, I'm not disguising this. We came here in front of you before under what? The highway claim. Remember that? 1985, Ontario kept walking away, kept walking away. We had to sue them. We had to litigate that. Esther and Leona were there at the time. And I congratulate them because we pulled together and we got it done. Yeah, I finished the job at the end, but there's the starters. Aren't we all one family? So we got that highway back. Well, what about our railway line? We have that as well. And any group that wants to come in our territory has to talk to us about their projects. Those are also in our camp. The duty to consult. But it's not just the duty to consult, folks. They need to accommodate us, accommodate our interests, our common interest. So those are the pros and cons. Miigwech.